The 2023 NFL schedule is officially here. Let's break down what it means for your favorite team. Before we get into individual schedules, let's talk about the bye weeks real quick. Week 5 is going to be the earliest that we see byes this season, and given that it's an 18-week season, that is incredibly early. So the Browns, Chargers, Seahawks, and Bucks, they're going to get that out of the way rather quickly. It is interesting to note that in week 8 and week 12, we have no teams with bye weeks. So we're going to deal with bye weeks off and on with 2 weeks right in the middle that no one will have one. Why couldn't we move week 5 teams back? And with the season almost already complete, the Commanders and the Cardinals will finally have their bye weeks in week 14. We will have 5 international games this season. 3 of them will be in London, the last 2 will be in Germany. And the biggest thing to take from this is that Jacksonville is going to have back-to-back weeks with international games in London. We have a slew of primetime games this year. Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football. But then we'll have primetime games on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and even on Black Friday this year. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that the NFL now has the right to switch out games throughout the week that are supposed to be primetime games. Keep an eye on that throughout the season, as some better matchups may get flexed over to Sunday night or Monday night football, which honestly, that's what we want anyway. Let's look at some individual schedules, and we're going to start in the AFC, and we're going to head out west. The NFL has set up the Kansas City Chiefs for a Super Bowl rematch with the Philadelphia Eagles coming after their bye in Week 11. That's probably going to be one of the most anticipated games of the season. For the AFC West, one thing to keep in mind is they're facing all the NFC North teams this year, which is really truly a wild card division. When you look at the teams there, you've got Detroit, who is betting favorites to win that division right now, but it's still the Lions. You got the Green Bay Packers with no more Aaron Rodgers. Minnesota on paper last year was very lucky because their defense really wasn't that good. Are they able to recapture some of that magic? And then you got the Chicago Bears, who had a really good offseason, but are they really going to be that much better? The AFC East this year is a true toss-up. The Bills obviously still the cream of the crop, but everybody behind them still looking to unseat them, with Miami looking to get better and build off that playoff appearance last year, the Jets adding Aaron Rodgers, and the Patriots hoping to get better as well. But when you look at all of these schedules, it's clear to see the New York Jets, to begin the season, are in for a tough one. They get their bye in Week 7, but not before taking on the Super Bowl runner-up last year, Philadelphia Eagles, and the rest of that 6-game stretch to start the season could provide to be a very difficult task. We'll see what the Jets are made up of right away. When you take a look at the AFC North, there's one thing that sticks out to me out of this entire schedule, and that's the Cleveland Browns, who have several teams that may have had a down season last year, but maybe they bounce back this year. The Titans and Colts, the Cardinals, Broncos, and Rams, and the Bears and Houston, all on this schedule. That they might be better this year, which could significantly make the Browns schedule that much tougher. But if we see them play a lot like they did last year, the Browns could be looking at a playoff berth. Jacksonville looking to continue what they started building last year, and if you look at the final weeks of their schedule, that could be all they need to make it into the playoffs. They finished the season against the Bucks, Panthers, and Titans. All 3 teams could be down this year. Carolina could surprise some people, but as of right now, on paper, they are a team that needs to be much improved. But when you look at that into the season for Jacksonville compared to the other teams, that's probably best case scenario for them. When you look at the AFC South, there's one thing that stands out to me, and that's Jacksonville's end of the season schedule. If they're fighting for a playoff spot, their last 3 weeks could be huge for them, and they get the opportunity to face the Buccaneers, the Panthers, and the Titans. All 3 of those teams could be sub 500 teams this season. Now, I will say this, I think Carolina is much better than what people will think they will be, but even with that said, if they're about a 500 team, that is a winnable matchup for Jacksonville. And if they are vying for that playoff spot, that's going to be the type of schedule they want to see to end the year. For the NFC North, the betting favorite Detroit Lions right now, which have like the third best odds in the NFC to win the NFC, crazy to say, their schedule, it could go one way or the other. We will find out what they are made of week 1 at Kansas City, defending Super Bowl champions on Thursday Night Football. This is the time for them to show out. If they go into Thursday Night Football and get absolutely whomped, it could set the tone for the next coming weeks. But if they go in there and they keep up with the Chiefs, or who knows, maybe even beat them, the Lions will put themselves in the national spotlight for the rest of the season. For a team like Green Bay that is breaking in a new starting quarterback in Jordan Love, yes, he's been on the team for a couple of years, but he's the newly appointed starter. And the Chicago Bears, which are trying to grow after a very disappointing 2022, this schedule, having to face the AFC West, is not going to treat them well. The NFC South is wide open, but you could argue that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to have the most difficult start to the year, and they've probably lost the most. They have the NFC North champions and the NFC East champions in 2 of the first 3 weeks to start the year. Then they get the Bills in week 8, and then San Francisco in week 11. Tampa Bay could end up finishing dead last, not only in this division, but near the bottom of the league, and set themselves up for a huge draft pick heading into 2024. With games against Green Bay, Houston, Washington, and Tampa Bay in the first several weeks of the season, I really think the Atlanta Falcons could get off to a very strong start and potentially be leading this division when we reach the halfway point of the season. Philadelphia went to a Super Bowl last year. It would make sense that their schedule this year is going to be far more difficult, but check out those teams that they got to face coming out of the bye. They get the Chiefs, the Bills, and the 49ers on back-to-back-to-back weeks. But luckily for them, if the New York Giants haven't taken another step forward this year and they don't play like they did last year, facing them twice and the Cardinals in 3 straight weeks to end the season could be big for them. Dallas will have a very tough stretch of games to end the season. Seattle, Philly, Buffalo, Miami, and Detroit to end the year, with Washington being the final game. If Dallas doesn't have themselves an outstanding record heading into that stretch, it could all come crashing down. The NFC West is probably going to be a battle of 2 teams this season, for San Francisco and for Seattle. Now, that doesn't mean Los Angeles won't be able to springboard back from their disappointing year last year, but a lot of that is going to depend on the health of Matthew Stafford. They're also going to be a little bit lighter on defense this year than what we've seen in years past. Having to face a very tough AFC North is also going to be no laughing matter for this division. That is why when you look at Seattle and you look at the 49ers, they look like the teams that are most ready to compete and win this division right now. Yo, there you have it, headliners. Trying to keep this video a little bit on the quicker side, but maybe we do a live stream where we break down more of the teams and answer your questions about the schedules. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike it, then dislike the video. But no matter what you do, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think of the schedule for your favorite team. And yo, whether or not you like this video, hit that subscribe button for us, because I can guarantee you that the content we have coming the rest of the year is going to be absolute bangers. Y'all stay safe and healthy out there, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.